Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 15th of December. My name's Phillip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
What a massive end to the year. How incredible was last weekend?
It was a big weekend, Phil. Lots of action, lots of auctions, lots of crammed in results, Phil. People are scampering to get their property sold and bought and move and settle before the end of the year.
And what a massive weekend we had, and 77% clearance rate for us versus the industry average of 72%. So massive volume now, Gary. These are big auction weekends that we would see, as is typical in the height of spring, in a normal non-COVID, non-pandemic year.
You know, talking about that, I've got to say, I walk in here and our cameraman has got a mask on, but, you know, and I thought, okay, maybe, you know, because he's in our presence, he, you know, thinks he maybe needs the mask. But then I saw someone driving with a mask on, and I think there's a bit, I don't get that, right? Like, you get in your car, you put on a mask and you think, well, I'm going to make sure that my car's safe from me, or I'm going to not, I don't know where that part of safety comes in. You can't explain that either.
I can't explain it. People never cease to surprise or amaze, and I think that human condition is what keeps life interesting.
Well, I said to our guy here, you know, well, how come you got to? He goes, oh, I'm just used to it now. So people are kind of now just sort of, they're kind of almost like hypnotised in a masked daze, Phil.
Well, Gary, I think the fascinating thing about the human condition and human psychology is that when you get people to perform in a certain way, they become, like you say, hypnotised, or they just become used to it. I mean, look at cults, for example, Gary. You can get people into a cult, they go in search of meaning.
I've got a bit of a cult at the moment because my nose has been running. Go on.
Yes. That's the best we can do in the middle of December, having sat on the couch watching inspirational Netflix all year. The best you can come up with is an old grandpa joke.
Exactly right.
And I say that with all due respect to the grandpas that watch this show, because grandpas add wisdom to the world.
They do, Phil. Indeed.
But I think you're a bit ahead of your time, Gary.
I think I have to be there, Phil. But anyway, it's you know, it's like the what is it? The grasshopper in the jar. You put the lid on the jar, the grasshopper jumps up to the lid.
Yes.
You take the lid off, and the grasshopper jumps no further, Phil.
Boiling frog, Gary. Boiling frog.
Anyway, enough of those cliches, but it is interesting, isn't it? And in fact, one of the auctions on the weekend, Phil, in Roselea Street, I knocked it down to a masked couple.
Yes.
They were masked when they came in. I couldn't see their actual, because there weren't many people masked at the auctions. You don't have to be masked anymore, of course. In fact, there's no real, maybe even reason to be masked, but they chose to be masked, which is fine. You can choose to be masked. If you want to be masked, why not? You can be masked if you want to be masked. Nothing to stop you being masked. Anyway, they came to the auction with masks. I couldn't see the reaction. I couldn't see if they were happy, sad.
It's all in the eyes, Gary. The eyes. You've got to focus on people's eyes.
Well, my
eyes, Gary, are the window to your soul.
Oh, indeed. Anyway, they were sort of over in the distance. They bought it. They came in. They signed. I never really saw them, Phil. I could see them in the street tomorrow. I wouldn't even know that they were the buyer.
Well, speaking of that, Gary, how many auctions do you reckon I've done now across the journey?
I don't know. You've embellished it a few times. You've sort of said, 10,000, 100,000, 500,000.
I've never said 100,000. Okay. I've never said 500,000. But I'm going to estimate about 10,000 now.
Fair enough.
I reckon it's about that.
Well, how long will it take you to actually get good at one?
So no. You can imagine. You can imagine if you came to my 10,000th and then came to my 50th. And if there wasn't much difference, you'd either say I'm a genius auctioneer or that bloke just cannot improve.
I think you might be. How did your suit smell on Sunday night at about 8 o'clock?
Gary, you're missing my point, right? I've got a great story here. So after doing 10,000 auctions, you'd reckon I've seen it all, wouldn't you? You'd reckon I'd seen absolutely everything. Well, something happened to me on Saturday.
Yeah, well, don't say the dress. Let's not say the dress. No, don't say the dress, because I don't want the address. No, I've got reason for it, Philip. I don't want the address. We had the.
I won't say the address.
I don't think it's necessary.
I won't say
better
the address.
Not to.
Anyway, I had an auction on the weekend where I had. I do what I do, Gary, which is getting the best price for our sellers, while showing all parties involved due respect.
We are paid to get the best price for seller, Phil. It is our ultimate duty under our code.
I want to go with what I've just said. Our job is to get the best possible price for our sellers.
It's our sacred duty.
Whilst paying all buyers due respect.
Yes, indeed.
Okay? So I thought I had performed admirably at this auction.
Yes.
And it was one of those auctions where sometimes a bidder bids quickly, but the other party needs time to consider.
Yeah, well,
because physiologically, viewers, when you're bidding at an auction, unless you're a pro,
becoming a long story.
Your heart rate's going to go up, your blood pressure's going to go up, and your brain does become a little bit
get to the
foggy
point. It'll get to
with
the point
the
too.
anxiety.
Not much
so
longer now.
had a woman bidding. She wasn't the easiest bidder, but she was forthcoming with her bids.
Yeah.
Young couple,
Yeah.
clearly inexperienced in life,
Yes.
or so we thought.
Yes.
Were longer with their bids. Anyway, well, this woman absolutely lost it with me at the end of the auction, and I could see that there was a problem coming.
Yes.
So I approached the underbidder and I said to the underbidder, please stay around just in case we have a problem signing up the contract, which is natural practice.
Yep.
Anyway, this woman went ballistic at me and then stormed off.
Yep.
I then went to the underbidder and said, look, I'm going to offer this property to you at your last bid.
So you knocked it down and sold.
Knocked it down as sold to this woman.
And the buyer did a runner. That's what's happened.
Did a runner.
Yeah.
We then offered it to
Like
the
the cartoons where you see the legs go really fast and all smoke goes. That's how fast she ran.
Speedy Gonzales, Roadrunner.
Okay, Roadrunner, yeah.
A flash.
That's right, just a bit of smoke
and she was gone.
Yep.
Anyway, so I went to the underbidder, lovely young couple,
Yep.
who I offered it to them at their last bid.
Yes, fair enough.
To which, of course,
Yeah.
they froze.
Yes, fair
because all of a sudden, you can understand, maybe this was the first auction they've ever bid at,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden this commotion is happening in front of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, time took its course, we settled them down, they agreed to stand by their last bid, which
Yeah,
the vendor
yeah,
was quite comfortable about,
Yes.
and we sold it to them, where now, normally what would happen is that the couple would then, embrace, take the contracts, get into their car, drive off and, partake in a luncheon or a dinner.
Yep.
What did this couple do? Well, never happened to me in my entire real estate career. They went outside, we put the sold sticker on the board,
Oh, yeah, that's
and
right. This
then
is a good story.
he drops to his knee.
I love this story. Yeah.
And proposes with a ring to the woman.
How good is
So
that?
the big question,
beautiful
viewers,
is
there's
this?
only one question you need to ask yourself here. And if you're not going to
Yeah.
get this question, you're not paying attention. The only question is, if they hadn't have bought a property this weekend, they didn't find anything till February, March of next year, or could have kept missing out, would he have just delayed his proposal until they actually got a sold sticker on the
Did
board?
it take the purchase to do the proposal? That's the question now. Did it take the purchase to do the proposal? And you know what? We are bringing people together, Phillip, now in beautiful ways. It's no longer just about selling real estate. No, forget about that. This is the new way forward. This is the new... I think you're now no longer an auctioneer. You just become a seller.
I'm a matchmaker. I'm a matchmaker.
That's it. You're a matchmaker,
So,
matching buyers and sellers and husbands and wives. We've expanded our duties.
here's
That's a great story.
Here's the thing, Gary. If
what a crazy
you're a believer,
Crazy
if you're a
auction.
believer,
Yeah.
Gary, in there is a greater force
Yep.
at play here.
Yep.
If that woman
Yes.
had have just
Challenging.
signed the contract,
Yeah.
these two would
Yeah.
just be off somewhere, and they'd still
Maybe it never would have
might
happened.
have broken up.
It might have been exactly right.
She might have gone, you know what? I'm
know
just
what?
sick of you. You can't be decisive. You can't beat
you can't
anybody
buy
at an
it.
auction. I don't want any more part of you. So,
So-
if there is a greater force at
Yeah.
play, and I think there probably is,
Oh, yeah.
Gary, I
Yep.
think that moment
Yep.
played out according to something up there that actually just said, I'm going to have a bit of a laugh here.
Sometimes, Phillip, the most beautiful gifts are poorly wrapped, Phil, and that took that woman, that challenging lady, to walk away in a huff to actually gift that property, and there you were to enjoy it. So I think we've got some footage of it too. I think we've got a shot here. Let's show.
Got to put it up.
Let's show the footage of the proposal, the auction proposal, and we'll call this episode the proposal.
The proposal, absolutely.
It's fantastic. So well done and congratulations. I'd like to interview those people.
But who would have thought? I mean, to have all of that happen in one moment, and people
that's a
wonder
lot.
why we love our job, because
No
you
lack
just
of
never
action, is
you
there?
never know what's going to happen
It's
next.
amazing, isn't it? People who tune into this show, I mean, I didn't know what we were going to talk. We don't know what we're going to talk about when we get on this show, but it's amazing. We don't have to make anything up or create anything. It just unfolds before our very eyes.
That's the bizarre part about our life, Gary.
Fantastic. Can we wrap some of our
People
auction?
wonder why we never get sick of what we're doing. You know, they'll be wheeling us out in our wheelchairs from Emmy Monash or wherever we happen to get into.
By the way, that Emmy. Emmy Monash. He does an auction on the weekend, viewers, and says, "Oh, we've wheeled him in from Emmy Monash. Thank you." Now, firstly, Emmy Monash, for those that don't know, is a home for the aged. And by the way, I've only got a few months on you in terms of age, but anyway, people laughed at that, which I don't want them to encourage that sort of material. I'm glad they're laughing at least.
I'm introducing the team at our auction in Waverley Road.
Yeah.
And you know what, Gary? In fairness,
yeah.
you don't work much on the weekend, so when
I
do see you, it comes as it becomes a bit of a surprise. So it just flashed into my mind that I had this image of you because you're now with your hat and sunscreen all over your face. You've got to get some tinted sunscreen, Gary, because you look like you're going to the cricket on the. Anyway, when I did see you, I thought they've just wheeled you out of Emmy Monash. I thought it was just champagne comedy. It amused me, and the crowd did laugh.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't like them encouraging you for it. Anyway, look, what a weekend.
Did that offend you, did it?
No, guys.
You took it in good humour.
Mate, really, come on. I mean, I know how ridiculous it is to suggest that I'm, aged or aging or old. And thanks, by the way, for getting me all suited up. He took me shopping. I was like his pretty woman, like Julia Roberts. He went and took me out.
Took him to the
shopping.
tailor.
It's a beautiful thing. Mind you, I don't know how much it's going to cost me.
It's going to cost a lot of money.
Well, I hope I get change for $1,000 for all those suits, Phil, because there's a lot of suits there.
Well, that does represent the deposit and not 10% either.
It worries me when he says, "Oh, this is what you'll do," and you just sort it out, and all of a sudden he just gives them my credit card number and off we go. But anyway, he's taking me to the tailor, and I'm going to get
when these suits do arrive. So viewers, Gary is an appalling dresser. Appalling. I mean, he diminishes our brand by looking the way he does on the weekend.
I'm with the real people, Phil. I'm part of the real people out
with
there.
his cricket hat and zinc on his nose. Yeah. So I've taken him to the tailor, and this is a tailor that's been doing my suits for quite some time, and I've just said we need an overhaul. We need it. What was that? What was that gay guy that used to give overhauls?
It was it was like a straight eye
for the straight guy.
Yeah. Anyway, got me sorted out, and
when the new suits come,
yes,
you have to throw out we'll give them to charity, of course, the Posh Shop in Glen Huntly Road, Elstonwick, and also Glen Huntly Road, Carnegie. If you've got anything at home that you do not need, please give it to the Posh Shop, because the Posh Shop are a fantastic
We're going to get to real estate some stage. Phil, last time we went and bought me some suits, right? Yeah. I put them on, and they were all like pushing me up from the bottom here, if you know what I'm saying. No, so it got a bit awkward.
No one on GPTV wants to even imagine that, because you can't unthink it.
No, but the trouble is, I never wore any of them, by the way. All new suits, never worn them. So the Posh Shop...
Throw them all out. Give them all to the Posh Shop.
Suits, Phil, I never wore them. Anyway, but
we're going to have a rack worn by Gary Peer.
Do you think that'll go down well? Can we talk about
second-hand wheelchairs and Zimmer frames?
Thanks for that. Well, fantastic. We're aging right before your very eye. I am going to get my hair cut, by the way. Next 24 hours.
Please get the suits dry clean before you drop them in.
Yeah, sanitised and dry clean. Let's talk about some sales, can we? 36 Morgan Street, Carnegie. Look, I want to send a shout out to those vendors, because they are GPTV watchers. They've been talking about it.
Nicest people.
The best people. You know what? It's not that difficult to be nice, is it, Philip? Just be pleasant to the people you employ.
That's an interesting thing, because we were talking about this off camera, about there are two ways to go through life. You can either go through life just nice, doing the right thing, being nice, or you can go through life not being nice and not doing the right thing. Exactly. And I think on balance, it's easier to do the right thing and be nice. Exactly. Anyway,
you know what, Muhammad Ali said a great quote once, and I like it a lot, and I've made it a bit of a mantra, Phil, that I don't like people who are not nice to waiters or waitresses.
Absolutely.
You know, that the old waiters or waitresses, because I could have been one of them.
Yep.
And I like that mantra, and I look at how people treat waiters and waitresses, and I've got to say, you could do a bit nicer to the waiters and waitresses. Actually.
That's not fair, because I never forget my roots, which is Gary and I used to work at the Pancake Parlour together until we were sacked. And there's a good story there. We'll tell you more another time.
Set the place on fire. No, that's true. You do treat waiters and waitresses nicely, as you do most people, I must say, Phil. In that way, you are a very decent, a nice person. So how he treats me on GPTV is not a real reflection of how he's
channeling all my niceness into the general public, and then I've got this tiny little nasty side that I just kind of go. I know you can take it, Gary.
Yeah, take it. I like it. I eat it. Morgan Street, Phil, sold 3 bidders,
Nice
$1,925,000. Congratulations, thank you. And well done to Nikki Janova, who did such an awesome job, and the vendors, full of praise for her.
Just a bit of an interesting real estate thing to think about.
It'll be a long episode, Phil.
36 Morgan Street, go online and have a look at it. When I first arrived at that property, Gary, I thought it was an older home that had been incredibly renovated.
Very pretty home.
So these people had pulled down an old house in the street, which has got a bit of a heritage overlay, and they had faithfully reproduced a facade in keeping with the street. So from the outside, it looked absolutely true to the area.
I thought it
and
was.
Yet, well, exactly, but it was actually a brand new home.
So
So well done to the architect there, who I will be getting in touch with because I thought the work was so great.
Anyway, great result. 3 bidders, Phillip, sold well. Then the Mighty Blues. Carlton Street, anyway.
Yes.
Mckinnon, Phillip, I think you did that auction as well. You did
did.
a lot of auctions on the weekend. Sold for $1,300,000.
So here's another lovely story, Gary. I'm just going to say this. Carlton Street, Mckinnon.
Yes.
And Walora Road in Caulfield North.
Yes.
So Carlton Street, Mckinnon on Saturday, Walora Road in Caulfield North on Sunday were bought by sister and brother.
You're kidding?
Of the same family.
Is that right?
Isn't that lovely?
How's that? They go,
how good's our job?
Sister and brother go shopping together. Love that too. Omama. That was a good auction. I went and saw David Thompson in Omama Road, sold it for $1,156,000. I went inside to the vendor and they said, oh, we had an offer, we thought we might take it. I think it was, how much was the offer? I think it might have been $1 million or something. I can't remember. It was a lot.
You're going to leave with a story that you've got no recollection of it.
Memory's not what it was. $1,075,000, Phil.
Getting back to Wemmy Monash. Just after the show.
Where was I again? No, $1,075,000 I think they had on offer, or they had a suggested offer.
Come on.
Anyway, sold for $1,156,000.
Wow.
David Thompson did a great job.
Story that took us a long time to get to.
Good on you, David Thompson. Good auctioneer. 53 Mimosa Road, Carnegie. Leo Samuel sold that for $1,052,000.
You're going to go through every single result, Gary, because we did have a massive weekend.
World Parade, Phil.
Yes.
5 bidders there.
Yep.
Undisclosed price, but geez,
love
sold
those
well.
streets viewers that come off Glen Huntley Road in South Caulfield. Anything walking distance to shops, and the tram is always going to do well.
Jeremy Rosen sold, Phillip, 6 at 30 Balaclava Road. I think he had 4 bidders, sold it for $558,500. Phil, $558,500 in the block where I made my first ever sale in my real estate career. Well done to you, Jeremy Rosens, another fine auctioneer and terrific real estate agent. Philip, we move on to Roselea Street. Well, that's where the masked buyer was, Phil.
Yes.
So I'd like to say congratulations to those buyers if I ever see them round, but unless they're wearing their masks, I won't recognise them. Anyway, Phil, 5 bidders, sold well above reserve, $853,000.
Great business idea.
Yep.
And if you're watching this show, I've got no time to do this, but I suggest you do in for the next pandemic. Imagine you could get a print machine, right? Take a photo of yourself.
Yes.
Put it into a machine.
Yes.
It photographs the face
It's been done, Phil.
onto the...
Yeah, it's been done.
It's been done?
Done in France, yeah. It's been done in France.
What a great idea.
Yeah, it was someone else's idea. I think you saw it and you just forgot that you saw
No,
it.
I've never seen it before. So I just had a bang like that.
No,
I'm like an ideas factory.
you're just a plagiarist.
Except if I did that, Gary, I would for sure get Brad Pitt's face.
Yeah, fair enough too. 2 Walora Road, Phillip. It wouldn't be an episode of GPTV. We didn't talk about our feature sale, undisclosed.
Strong price, Gary.
Went for
but
a
worth
lot
worth
over reserve,
every cent of it, viewers, because 1,600 square metres where you can really build your dream estate comes up once in a lifetime. So
record
the previous
price.
owners had been there for decades.
Record price, but record property, Phillip. You know, you can say record price, but it's a record property that should get a record price, shouldn't it?
Correct.
Anyway, watch that space because something incredible is going to be happening there. Phil, that's a bit of a wrap, although we did also sell on Thursday night. We sold Kambea Grove, so well done to you.
Shout out to the vendors of that property who have been long supporters of our business.
Thank
the
you.
most decent people.
We appreciate you.
Thank you very much again.
Phil, we've got some new listings to talk about. We've got the expression of interest closing today. So if you can get to the table really quickly, you can still buy the property at 235 Kuyong Road, Elston. Let's show some image of this incredible home.
property.
Yeah, unbelievable, Phil. Hey, you got an auction tonight, Phil, too, at 6 p.m. So just make sure you get ready for that one in Khartoum Street.
Yes.
Terrific address, looking forward to that. We've got like 23 auctions still to go, Phil. It's usually this time of year we're sort of starting to wind back a little bit, sit back. I don't mind the odd cigar.
We'd be in Christmas party mode, Gary, but
no.
This year it's all a bit of an underwhelming close to a year. But how good will it be, viewers, to see the back of 2020?
Yep.
I'm done with 2020. Bring on the 1st of January, where it's just going to be, I think there'll be a wave of enthusiasm and optimism.
I agree with that, Phil.
I really do believe
Shut
that.
the door on 2020, bugger off 2020 and stay out. Anyway, let's talk about Wednesday, Phillip, 6 Maurice Street. You're going to be doing that auction at 6 p.m. on Wednesday. That's a beautiful home. Phil had some great coverage on that one in the paper, but we're looking forward to that one.
One of the nicest back gardens and swimming pools you're likely to see, Gary.
Great
a little bit of an alfresco gazebo overlooking the pool where one could sip martinis or chilled, what's the one there with the crushed?
Mojito.
No, I don't know, slushy.
Slushy, yeah.
Slushy
Alcoholic
from
slushy.
7-Eleven where the kids pour in the vodka.
Yep.
And say to mum and dad, just a slushy from
And
7-Eleven.
we just sold a property very close to that one in Maurice Street for in excess of $5 billion, Phil. We're not
We
going to say
did, Gary.
anymore.
Can't say where.
No, but very close by. Phil, 7 Ash Grove also goes for auction on Wednesday. Simon Radolnik is the auctioneer, Phil, I believe. We're looking forward to that one. Let's talk about Thursday's auctions, Phil. They're like daily at the moment.
Lord.
One at 29 Bamber Road, where you will be getting out your gavel, Phil, and auctioning that one. Have you ever had a gavel?
Don't use a gavel, Gary. It's a little bit old-fashioned, but that's a wonderful, wonderful single-story villa. Looking forward to that.
I want to bring back the bell. You know, the auction bell. I love the auction bell. It was fun. It was good. It reminded me of old England of the 1700s.
Perhaps you can do that at M1 just for letting everybody know it's lunch.
Fair enough. Oh, good. There is a future for me. That goes at 6 p.m. Good on you, Lamore. Great property. And at 6:30, Phil, we're going to be getting over to Glen Waverley because we are selling or auctioning number 13 Gyton Avenue. Leo Samuel auctions that. Brings us to the weekend, Phil. The final weekend of auctions for the year. This is the penultimate edition of GPTV. We'll have a market wrap and a year in review edition next week, I think. Phil, what do you think?
I think next week we should film GPTV sitting in a sleigh with reindeers.
Is that right?
Mr. Cameraman, could you organise a sleigh and reindeers for next week?
What a great inspiration that is, Phil. Who would have thought? Let's talk about our Saturday auctions. We're going to start off at 10:30 in Bentleigh, Phil. Send you down there to sell number 8 Ardwick Street, Bentleigh, a terrific 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. Phillip, Dunlop Avenue, you'll be moving just one suburb across.
You know, by the time I'm in Dunlop, I won't even be weary.
Very good for that, Phil. Boom, boom, they're coming at you thick and fast. This is a wonderful 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. Phil, Woodville Avenue is auctioned at the same time. Leo Samuel auctions this great looking property in a terrific street at 11:30. A little gap at 12:30. Phil, we're back in business at 1:30 p.m. 356 Balaclava Road. Simon Radolnik will be auctioning this terrific home. And Manchester Grove, Glen Huntley, Simon moves on at 2:30 to auction that. Phil, you got a bit of a quiet day on Saturday, as do I. At Coleridge Street, Elwood, great 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom property. Jeremy Rosens looks forward to auctioning that one. Meeting up with Joel Sir there. Phil, 2:30. We are in Porter Road, Carnegie. Graham Callan has been handling that terrific 4-bedroom property. Leo Samuel is the auctioneer. And Anzac Street, lest we forget the Anzac Street auction, Phillip. Leo Samuel auctions that at 3:30 to bring down the hammer on our Saturday. Phil, on Sunday, we are rocking and rolling. We have triple auction action at 10:30 a.m. Let's get you to sleep in on Sunday as well, Phil. You actually got a quiet weekend. You had a big one last weekend.
I did. I'm still carrying the scars from a busy weekend.
I'm not surprised. 192 Glen Road. Love those terrace houses, Phillip. As you know, opposite Caulfield Grammar. You would remember those because we sold them all in a row at one time together. Is being
and
auctioned
across the road from a milk bar.
Yeah, it used to be. Yep.
Do you remember what her name was?
Yeah, it was Constantos. That was the name. It was Constantos was the name of the proprietor of that milk bar, and of course, a cheeky young kid. I used to drive him crazy. Used to get, for 10 cents, you used to get a bag of mixed lollies like that, Phillip. You get the cobbers, you get the Redskins. I know you didn't have a lot of that in Cootamundra, but gee,
those were the good old days where you could go to a milk bar and ask for a mixed bag, and the proprietor would just, regardless of where they'd had their hands previously, would just put their hands in, and then you'd go, no, I don't want that one. They'd put them back.
Yeah, exactly. There are raspberries and the cobbers and the milk bottles and bananas and We grew up with some great confectionery in
We
Australia,
did.
didn't we? Better than anywhere else, I reckon. Anyway, maybe not Switzerland with the chocolates, Phil, but everywhere else we did better than. 10:30 a.m. opposite the old Constantados Milk Bar, which is now part of Caulfield Grammar. For those people that have been around a while, you remember that, Jeremy Rosen's auctions. Phillip, 12 at 647. This is a terrific apartment. I love this block. They are spacious apartments, and I'm meeting Daniel Peer there at 10:30 a.m. and looking forward to it. We have an auction in Wilk Street, Phillip, which I think we're going to change the time from 10:30 a.m. Did I say PM for the last one? 10:30 a.m. to 12:30. But that's a terrific apartment, great building, great block and great position. 11:30, Phil, Grosvenor Street. I have auction honours for this terrific apartment, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom at 65 to 67 at Grosvenor Street, St Kilda East. And Phil, we're going to get you to auction at 11:30. Your first auction, 24B Bokhara Road, if not sold prior, which it may be.
This is the two-storey town residence Gary produced under his guiding hand, Stephen Dreyer from Dreyer Project Management. Does a fantastic job.
The best. Phil, at 12:30, you're going to be in Ellington Street, the second of your 3 auctions.
I'm looking forward to that, Gary.
Great
Good
address.
family home. The 80s is back big time.
Oh, yeah.
So I love this house and look forward to that because Ellington is a great address.
Sure is. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, terrific property, Phillip. 4131 Glen Road may well be sold. If not, I'm looking forward to auctioning that one, Phil, at 1:30 p.m. And you will be bringing down the hammer and closing the auction year, Phillip, in Orrong Road at 227 Orrong Road, St Kilda East. A masterpiece, Phil.
You said Orrong
3:30
and then Orrong.
p.m.
Is it Orrong or Orrong?
It can be either or both.
No,
Phil.
it's clearly
No.
Orrong. Orrong Road, O-R-R, Orrong, not Or. Orrong.
I like Orrong, Phil.
Orrong.
Yeah, Orrong.
That's ridiculous.
Orrong
Road.
One of us has got it all wrong. I'm not sure who. 3:30 p.m. on Sunday brings down the curtain for this man for his final auction. We have an expression of interest closing off a day before Christmas Eve, Phil, which is on the 23rd of December, and that is the property in Newman Avenue, Carnegie, for Seinfeld fans. Hello, Newman. We're looking forward to that one. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. That's a big wrap for the year's auctions.
Geez, these shows are taking a long time as we get busier and busier.
I've got through the listings.
But I think, Gary, there's a reason that the GPTV shows are longer now because I think the viewers, having suffered through COVID, having watched so much Netflix, they kind of expect a show now to be somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour.
I mean, they probably don't expect 410 episodes because that's what we've got, because most of it a little bit contains some of those mini-series. But Phil, we are back next week with our year in review and our auction wrap. And to bring an end, and people say to me sometimes, the fans of GPTV, but can't wait to get back, but you're going to have to wait until probably the first week in February when we bring back GPTV with more news of the market as we wrap up the edition, the proposal edition. Finally, we've had it happen at one of our auctions, and I hope this starts a trend now, Phil, that buyers come together, buy properties, get married, and don't forget to invite us to the wedding. I'm Gary Peer. Thank you for watching.
I'm Phillip Kingston. Have a fantastic week.